who would win in a battle between Aquaman and Superman. While various versions of Aquaman are also capable fighters, Aquaman from the post-crisis New Earth era from the 80s to the 00s would likely defeat Superman. If you think this statement sounds outdated or questionable, remember that Orin not only starred in the longest-running Aquaman series but also served as the inspiration for Aquaman in the first Injustice game. A clear indicator is his use of Poseidon's Trident rather than the Trident of Atlan or other Atlanteans. Orin is considered the embodiment of the legendary Aquaman and is even used as the standard version in DC Legends. This affirms not only Orin's iconic role in Aquaman's legacy but also his prowess as a formidable warrior. But before we dive deeper into the analysis, please hit the subscribe button and don't forget to turn on notifications by clicking the bell icon. Thank you. The Justice League movie primarily depicted an Aquaman based on Orin. He is the one the Justice League animated character is modeled after, not to mention the Young Justice series. Orin also returned to comics a few years ago, starring in the Aquaman Convergence issues. There are also many retcons and power variations of Superman, from the Golden Age to the Silver Age, pre- and post-crisis New 52, and Rebirth. There's even the bizarre blue and white electromagnetic-powered Superman from the 90s, but none of these make a difference in this matchup. No matter which version of Superman we choose, none stand a chance against Orin, perhaps with the exception of the Silver Age Superman, who could fly back in time to eliminate Orin as a child. However, even that tactic wouldn't help Superman gain the upper hand, as Aquaman could incapacitate him with just a thought. Orin's telepathic abilities rapidly connect to Earth from the edge of the universe, far surpassing Superman's speed limits. Additionally, his subconscious telepathic power allows him to predict anyone's actions near him, giving him the advantage of reacting before his opponent can strike. This makes even the Silver Age Superman unable to win in a real battle. Aquaman possesses not only incredible strength capable of taking down Superman with a single blow, but he can do so in the blink of an eye. Unlike heroes like Superman or the Flash, Aquaman acts decisively, wasting no time on unnecessary conversations. He often resorts to telepathic attacks as his first line of offense, and is well documented that he will do exactly that. In fact, Aquaman once took down Zuma White Martian. This no-nonsense attitude sets Aquaman apart from other heroes, as he chooses swift and forceful action over drawn-out reasoning or negotiation. Not only can Aquaman use telepathy to induce fear and debilitating seizures, but he can also launch telepathic attacks with vibrational energy that can kill Kryptonians, who are famously vulnerable to telepathic and vibrational assaults like high-pitched noise. I think of how Black Canary ruptured Superman's eardrums in Injustice, or when Wonder Woman damaged his eardrums with shockwaves from her bracelets. In the main universe, many versions of Aquaman also wield magical powers, especially Orin, who was born through mystical magic. Superman is always weak against magic, almost as much as he is vulnerable to kryptonite. In fact, Superman has repeatedly been portrayed as struggling against magical foes. Furthermore, Aquaman has another significant advantage: his ability to breathe underwater. Superman, at least in past stories including the current Rebirth era, still needs air to survive. This gives Aquaman the upper hand in an underwater battle. Aquaman has also, like this example, been gifted Poseidon's Trident after he defeated the god Triton in a one-on-one fight. At that time, Triton was holding the Trident he'd stolen from Poseidon, while Aquaman was unarmed. This Trident is a formidable weapon. It killed Poseidon, Aquaman, who later resurrected himself alongside Poseidon and Triton, while also destroying an Imperiex probe. This divine, indestructible weapon carries Poseidon's power, capable of destroying entire planets, protecting its wielder, and killing gods. Most of Poseidon's tridents are imbued with mystical and magical powers, typically allowing the user to control storms and weather, like lightning and tsunamis. Notably, we know that Superman is always at a disadvantage against magic and is often vulnerable to electrical attacks. Even without exploiting these weaknesses, Aquaman's strength is considered on par with Superman, while his combat skills far surpass Superman's. I anticipate that many Superman fans will argue that Aquaman's feats, like breaking tectonic plates or hurling a cruise ship, cannot compare to Clark's great feats. Superman has punched through reality, split dimensions, or accidentally sneezed an entire solar system into oblivion. He even pulled multiple planets linked by a chain. However, we should recognize that these accomplishments are often depicted as standout moments, but they don't truly align with Superman's consistent power limits across most stories. The fact is, Superman sometimes still needs help to move the Earth, struggles to hold a black hole smaller than the moon, and it's undeniable that Supergirl, upon her arrival on Earth, has surpassed his maximum strength. Regarding Shazam, although many of his feats have been highlighted before, along with claims that Shazam could physically outmatch Superman, though, to be fair, Shazam also has similarly controversial feats. It remains clear that Superman's strength is often inconsistent. This can partly be explained by the amount of solar radiation Superman absorbs, which directly affects his strength. What interests me most, however, is his battles. For instance, when Superman faced Lobo, he seemed completely incapable of harming him, and even had to fake his death to avoid being killed by Lobo. In comparison, Aquaman clearly won his fight against Lobo. Since that first encounter, subsequent battles between Superman and Lobo have become much more balanced, with neither really gaining the upper hand. However, this suggests that Aquaman is at least on par with Superman in terms of physical strength. In Injustice, Aquaman tells Superman, "I can match your strength." Clark and Superman replies, "Close enough," which I think is the best summary of how their strengths compare. Aquaman fought Superman for nearly a minute, with sounds like depth charges exploding, and destroyed an Imperiex probe, though he was absent for the rest of that battle due to being time-shifted along with all of Atlantis, leading to the Obsidian Age. He defeated Poseidon after surviving a surprise attack where the god stabbed him in the chest, beat Nuliagic multiple times, and faced Cthulhu annually, not to mention easily defeating Green Lantern Kyle Rayner, controlling the Brain's mind to decapitate himself, destroying Thule, a magical dark mirror of Earth, tearing off the middle head of Cerberus, and collapsing the gates of Tartarus to invade the underworld before resurrecting himself. As I mentioned earlier, Aquaman's physical and magical feats are impressive, but they don't even matter when he can do all of this. However, Superman is much faster than the speed of light. In fact, he is trillions of times faster. His Silver Age origins balanced his power and capabilities with a major weakness when he went too long without water, compounded by his unfamiliarity with extreme ocean depths. Please subscribe to the channel, it would help us a lot, and you'll get to see awesome videos every day. You're amazing, thank you so much. From the 60s and early 70s, you would have a guy who swims fast, communicates telepathically with marine life, and possibly commands a large underwater army. Not only is he powerful, but he also possesses great influence over the seas, partly due to his spiritual connection with the ocean. While Aquaman isn't the strongest member of the Justice League, in recent years, writers have worked hard to bolster his reputation as a true force within the team. He's fought Superman, battled Wonder Woman, and even choked Batman. These recent portrayals of the character are far removed from earlier depictions of him as helpless out of water, transforming him into a formidable force. He has superior martial arts skills, commands greater authority, and is better equipped. He leads an advanced underwater civilization that knows both magic and technology. Additionally, his telepathic abilities have greatly evolved, allowing him to use mind powers just slightly below the level of Martian Manhunter. While Aquaman's superhuman strength may not quite match Superman's, he remains one of the most powerful beings on Earth in the DC universe. With strength, intelligence, and mastery of both magic and technology, Aquaman isn't just a protector of the oceans. Often underestimated, he should not be taken lightly because he stands among the giants. Superman, Wonder Woman, and Jaeons are considered three of the strongest beings on Earth in DC, while almost every other meta-human is only a fraction as powerful. Aquaman's superhuman strength allows him to lift a blue whale, which can weigh up to 400,000 pounds or 200 tons, enough strength to rip apart a tank with his bare hands. Imagine that. Aquaman's strength has fluctuated greatly over the decades, from being able to lift a blue whale to hoisting a cruise ship in some recent stories. Look at this. Aquaman can swim at more than 10,000 feet per second underwater, meaning he can travel from New York to London in about half an hour. However, we still lack information about his ability to sustain this speed for extended periods. On land, Aquaman can reach speeds between 60 and 80 miles per hour for short bursts thanks to his superhuman strength and stamina. Additionally, his quick reflexes and sharp hand-to-hand combat skills allow him to effectively deal with dangerous foes in situations requiring agility and rapid reactions. His biggest weakness is the risk of dehydration, which could be addressed by Atlantis' advanced science. Oh right, I haven't mentioned that he lives in an underwater city familiar with both advanced science and magic. Surely someone down there could help him stay hydrated and prevent the loss of his superpowers. For him, moving underwater is as easy as moving through air. This realm significantly limits Flash and Batman. Wonder Woman is less effective because she still needs to breathe, while Superman and Martian Manhunter can still operate at 95% capacity. Any underwater activity means Aquaman is the right fit. Here you can see that Superman not only easily escapes the lasso of truth, but also catches a magic bullet made from the 8th metal of the gods forged by Hephaestus himself. Superman can even wield the Godkiller sword, one of Hephaestus' greatest creations. The Godkiller sword, as its name suggests, can kill a god. Any god. But beyond that, it can absorb the impact of any blow and return it with double the force. Not that it matters much to Superman. He simply strengthens his mental power further, to the point where the Godkiller sword cannot even resist him. Even the Spear of Lepidus couldn't take down Superman permanently. It could only wound him perhaps, because Superman has been holding back in these encounters, but he succeeded in making the god of the ocean bleed. Aquaman's strength is not only formidable, but also generates shockwaves so powerful they cause Wonder Woman to stumble backward. This proves that Aquaman's latent strength far exceeds what many think, and though he may not always be the one dealing serious damage, he's still capable of making his opponents wary with his strong and effective attacks. If Superman stood still and let Aquaman stab him in the chest with Neptune's Trident, the Trident might pierce him. Superman always has a slight disadvantage when it comes to magic and magical weapons. This means that, while magic weapons don't weaken Superman like kryptonite does, they have a much higher chance of penetrating Superman's skin and inflicting serious damage than ordinary non-enchanted weapons. We see a similarly ambiguous situation in the Injustice vs. the Masters of the Universe comic, and again in DC Universe vs. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, which is essentially a crossover where He-Man and the Man of Steel face off. Anyway, in a scenario where Superman stands still and takes a hit, I believe the outcome wouldn't be much different. This implies that the ability of a mystical weapon to pierce Superman's skin is neither a fluke nor an impossibility. Specifically, when it comes to power, Neptune's Trident seems even stronger than the Sword of Grayskull, though this is just a personal opinion, not absolute fact. The Trident holds immense mystical and magical energy, making Superman more vulnerable when faced with it. I believe the Trident of Neptune can absolutely pierce Superman's skin, but that doesn't mean it would be easy. The wielder of the weapon would still need immense strength, perhaps close to Superman's own. Aquaman undoubtedly has the necessary strength to use a magical weapon to pierce Superman's heart. Of course, that is if Superman doesn't fight back. What do you think? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for watching. That's the video for today, and I'll end it here. Thank you so much.